introduce our keynote speaker, I want to recognize our high school coaches that are here today. I'm going to ask them all, head coaches and assistant coaches, to stand so that people can recognize you. Take it out, guys. Many of those programs that players at all these institutions have had and will have in the future as well. Our keynote speaker is from Orville, California. He made just a little bit of a splash in LSU. He took the Tigers to the NCAA tournament his first season, and then for good measure, he just figured he'd win a national championship in his second season, which is, of course, the 7th in the illustrious history of the LSU baseball program. In 2023, the Tigers beat SEC rival Florida in the final series after a thrilling win over Wake Forest. It was LSU's first 50-win season since 2017 when they reached the final, losing to Florida. He was voted the 2023 National Coach of the Year by D1 Baseball, the American Baseball Coaches Association, and by Collegiate Baseball Newspaper. He's posted a 94-39 record in 2 seasons at LSU. He's 30-13 in NCAA tournament games, including 13-4 at LSU. Previously, he led Arizona to the College World Series, and he's coached 27 major league players. That number is certainly going to grow in the near future. Please give a very warm welcome to our keynote speaker, National Championship head baseball coach of the LSU Tigers, Jay Johnson.
Yeah, this is pretty awesome setup to be here. My whole life revolves around coaching and college baseball, and just kind of to the groups. You know, I've been there. You know, in the NFL coach. I can honestly say this: winning this past year was no more important to me than it was in 2005 at Point Loma and that region. And I really respect what you guys have to do with the resources and all of those types of things. And to my counterparts over here, as Coach Hill was mentioning, it's a tremendous honor right now to be a college baseball coach in the state of Louisiana. And, you know, I really enjoy the Tuesday games. And the reason I do is because in the SEC, it's a little competitive, it's a little contentious. I haven't made a lot of friends just yet. But you're looking at some of the best baseball coaches in the entire country are here in the state, you know, with these 4, and, you know, the guys that aren't here, Coach Day at ULL, Coach Bros at Louisiana Tech. So I'm super honored, you know, like to just be a part of that group. And then major hat tip to the junior college coaches in the state and the high school coaches in the state. Really didn't have a lot of feel, you know, for recruiting Louisiana before I came here, because Louisiana players were not going to San Diego, Reno, Nevada, or Tucson, Arizona. And so it was one of those states you just crossed off, because if they were good, they were going to go to LSU. And I told a story last night at our banquet about Kevin Gosman. I remember vividly seeing Kevin Gosman throw in high school, and I was like, this guy's the best pitcher in the country. I mean, and obviously what he's doing now, it proved that. And I was at San Diego at the time. I picked up the phone and I called Kevin Gosman, and I said, well, who else is recruiting you? And he said, LSU. I never called Kevin Gosman again. So I figured out it's a waste of time. But high school coaches, junior college coaches in the state, like, this is amazing. And I would put it up there as easily a top 5 state in the United States of where the best baseball players come from. And it makes a lot more sense to me right now, the success, you know, that LSU has had over a long period of time, largely to the job that you guys do. So let's give you guys a hand one more time. So, lastly, before I get into talking a little bit about last year and moving ahead to this year, if you were at our banquet last night, I said this too, so I don't want to double up on things, but I thought it was pretty good. So I got a lot of, like, you know, questions from my friends out west when I decided to do this, and, you know, it's like I was coming to a different place and all of that, and I got some strange looks from, you know, people like, hey, who is this dude from California? Well, I tried to explain to everybody the part of California that I'm from is exactly like Louisiana, not the part that we often think about. But now I'm official. So we survived the hurricane, you know, 2 years ago. So I got to experience that. I quickly learned that winning a national championship at thing. So we got that done. And then just a month ago, my boss, Scott Woodward, took me duck hunting. And so now, like, all the boxes are checked. So just real clear, I'm all Louisiana at this point in time. You know, what a special year, you know, last year was. I could go on about the people and the players and the team dynamic forever, but it really came down to just a few things. And when you come and watch us play, you're not going to win every game that you play in the SEC. You're not going to win every game on Tuesday because these guys do a phenomenal job. But I want everybody here to be super proud of the brand of baseball that we play. Like, that is super important to me, and I've always believed that the game knows who should be rewarded relative to winning and losing if you do things right. And, you know, I could lay my head on the pillow every night last year and get a great night's sleep because the players that we had were totally sold out and bought into that. So the things that were important to me, and I kind of want to explain and how they manifest themselves is, you know, we want to be very fundamentally sound, you know, for a lot of reasons. You know, the games that tip your season one way or the other are usually close games that always come down to fundamentals. And for me and for us, it's about doing very common things in a very uncommon way. So the example I like to give of this is everybody loved the play that Trey Morgan, New Orleans boy, made on the safety squeeze against Wake Forest to keep it at 0-0 to get us to extra innings. So it's kind of a cool backstory on that. So we're, you know, waiting to see who we're going to play in the regional. And, you know, on Saturday, I'm cheering for Coach Silva to win because I know the incredible job he does. And then on Sunday, I'm watching my home office, and Coach Ullman and I have been friends for a long time, so I'm cheering for him to win. I'm thinking about, like, wait a minute, now I got to play one of these guys because they're going to send one of the two to play us at our regional. And so it's going to be Coach Ullman. Well, he does a phenomenal job coaching these fundamentals of the game. And so they do a great job with their bunting game and all these types of things. And then also in our regional was Oregon State, which was a tremendous bunting team. So going into that week, I mean, we were really doubling down on our efforts. Like, if it's a close game, this is what they're going to try to do. We have to handle the ball. We get through that regional, didn't really have to use it. We played with the lead most of the weekend. Well, then the next weekend we're playing Kentucky, which is by far the best bunting team in the SEC. Again, we got out ahead both games, played the best baseball that we played all year, which was exceptional for the entire season in the NCAA tournament. The bunting thing didn't really come up. Yet in the finals, or excuse me, in the semifinals against Wake Forest, I mean, Paul Skeens, who is the greatest college pitcher for one season that any of us has ever seen, and he's tough to score on. He strikes a guy out, the guy advances to third, batter goes to first, and now we're in a situation like, whoa, this is going to get a little bit hairy. But we didn't want to just crash immediately, let the guy go to second. I thought we could get one run across. We were going to be back up at the top of the lineup. And so we kind of modified, like, this is what we're going to do. And I just pointed at Trey and I just said, hey, man, go. Like, we didn't put on our play, but it's like, if he shows, you have to go. And he did. I mean, unbelievable catch, unbelievable flip. Alex Milazzo, catch, tag, and we get the game into extra innings. And then Tommy White hits the homer, which this might sound very shallow, is easily still the greatest moment of my life in the ball world defense. But that was just an example, and I can point to all kinds of fundamentals, but that's just the way that these guys approached it. And kind of a dork coach moment was after the game. We're standing there, ESPN's interviewing Tommy and Paul, and we don't want to start the meeting after the game. Like, Milazzo and Trey are like chest bumping and going nuts about, man, we've been working on this for all year, we finally got to use it. Like, that's doing a very common thing in an uncommon way. And that was our team. Like, the second thing is competing. Like, valuing winning and what it takes to win. And they were exemplary at that. We have this saying that the season is a 56-game playoff. You know, it's not an automatic right that you're in the NCAA tournament just because you play at LSU. And you're not going to win every game, but when you come and watch us play, you have to really believe that winning is more important to us than the people in the other dugout. And that's a challenge because there's very tough-minded, hard-nosed, competitive players all throughout this region. And these guys do a great job of getting their teams ready to play. But the competitive nature of it, I think, really shined at the end. I really mean this. The regional and the super regional, we could not have been beat. We could have beaten the Yankees, you know, in the regional and super regional round at the box, with as focused, as determined as our team was. But then we get to Omaha, we play a great game against Tennessee, great program, win 6-3, then we're playing Wake 3-2, and we lose. And it wasn't anything other than it was an awesome game. Like, that's it. Josh Hartle, one of the best pitchers in the country, pitched great. Ty Floyd and Thatcher Hurd pitched great for us. We lost 3-2. They got a 2-out hit in the 8th inning. We did it. Sometimes that happens. And I could see it on our players' faces. They were a little bit like, wait a minute, like, no, this is our time. Like, this wasn't supposed to go like this. And so we literally just took like 30 seconds in the dugout and said, hey man, like, no matter what happens, when we show up tomorrow, there's no way it's more important to those dudes than it is to us. And then when we walked in the next day, it's like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, here's the pitching plan. Anybody got any questions whether we could do this? They just said, nope, let's go. Went out and played great. And the competitive nature to shut out Tennessee, to beat Wake Forest, who had only lost 7 games at that point in the season. They were 54-7 going into that game, 5-2, with 2 freshman pitchers carrying the bulk of the load that, hadn't, extended themselves all year to that point. And then you turn it back over to Paul and Thatcher in that game, and then get a day off, and then win one of the best games that nobody talks about, because everybody talks about the Wake game, but game 1 against the finals, Ty Floyd strikes out 17. I mean, Cade Beloso hitting the ball over the fence, another New Orleans guy. Like, that just typified the competitiveness. Well, then there's that game 2 thing where we lost 24-4, and you all were losing your minds. You remember that? I remember that. But then it was like, Coach, what did you say to him? I didn't have to say anything, because they've been so good at overcoming adversity. They were just not normal people. And in game 71, there was no way the stakes were even going to change it, because for every game that team played, it mattered to them more than as much as it possibly could. And so we knew exactly what we were going to get, and really played our best game in the season when it mattered the most. And as coaches, we would all tell you, like, that's the stuff that really fills you up when your players do those types of things. And then the third thing is character. And it doesn't mean like being perfect or choir boy or all that. Like, we've all learned very quickly that 18 to 22-year-old males' brains aren't fully developed all the time. And they don't always make perfect decisions. But that's what character is decision making. Is this the right thing to do? Is it not? Yes or no? There's very little gray area. Is this the best that you're capable of doing? Do you show up and treat others the way that you would like to be treated? And like, to a man, like, I could sit up here and talk about character, or you could just see how Gavin Dugas operated his life, or Cade Beloso operated his life, or Paul Skeens operated his life, or Dylan Cruz. Like, it was unbelievable. And we broke a program record for grade point average, last year. So those things really, really go hand in hand. So that's what that team was really, really about. Moving forward, it's been amazing, getting to celebrate, the accomplishment of that while moving forward and attacking a new opportunity. And if you're asking what are my thoughts on this year, is there's no thought of defending anything. It's about attacking a new opportunity, because if we're going to have a chance to beat any of these great coaches and programs or teams in the Southeastern Conference, it requires our absolute and total focus. And so that's where our players are at. They're very, very present in how we're going about that. I know we're all, hoping for a little better weather, this week than what we had last week, so we can get out on the field and prepare and do what we do, and roll how we roll, so we can get ready to achieve our potential. But very excited about the team. Look a little bit different, but really excited about the dynamic and how they're operating, and respecting what it takes to accomplish, the things that they were able to last year. But it's a completely different challenge, and really, really excited about that. So last thing I wanted to say is this, because I'm sure a few of you were there. like this, the entire state showing up in Omaha was amazing. Like, I mean, I've been two other times in, at Arizona. This was a completely different experience. It was like stacking the box on top of each other like 3 times. And the enthusiasm, the support, the loyalty, remarkable. It doesn't exist anywhere else. It's an amazing state. It's an amazing baseball state, and there's nowhere else in the country that I have any desire to be here or to coach than right here. And that's been because of the opportunity to run the program with the people. Like, all of you guys have been amazing, and I'm really proud. As I said, it's not just words to like be a coach in Louisiana. So thanks for having me today.